Hey, what's up everyone? Zach here. I hope you're ready for a little bit of encouragement because that's what this video is all about. I've been going back and forth, experiencing some growing pains recently, and I want to explain what that is. And I wanted to make this video to encourage some of you who may also be going through some of the same things in your own lives right now. So this video is for the business owners, the creatives, videographers, photographers, designers, really anyone in the creative field, anyone who's running their own business. It doesn't even have to be in the creative field. This video is for you. And the encouragement is you need to go ahead and just invest in your business. And if that's the same thing as investing in yourself, then you need to invest in yourself. It's 100% worth it, and it will pay off in the long run, even if it doesn't pay off in the short term. But if you don't invest now, then when the opportunity comes later on, you won't be ready for it. And so that's why it's so important to continue to invest in yourself, invest in your business, invest in your teams, whatever that means for you. So I've gone through this thought process multiple times throughout running my business, and I've been running my creative business, brand strategy business for about 6 years. I started off doing photography, videography, web design, things like that. Eventually morphed into brand strategy over the past like 4 years. And now we're going strong as brand strategists who will also execute on the strategy if the clients who pay us for strategy want us to do that. But my whole point is you need to invest in yourself. There have been multiple times throughout running my business that I've come across like a medium to large expense, for me anyways, that I've debated on pulling the trigger on. Examples of those are like my computing devices that I've had, my MacBook Pro, my iPads, the displays that I edit my videos and photos on, the camera equipment that I have, the lighting equipment that I have, the storage equipment that I have. How much do I invest in the aesthetics of my office, which is the place where I do the majority of my work? Things like that. And at the beginning of this year, I was speaking to my significant other and I told her, I really want to take video a lot more seriously this year, both in the form of YouTube and in the form of creating higher production value videos for my clients. And I recently onboarded another client a few weeks ago, and as we're moving through brand strategy, I'm finding that this will be a great opportunity to go heavy into video for this particular client, and a lot more on the higher production side because it's more corporate / high-end facing. So that told me that, hey, I need to shoot like higher quality interview style videos, which meant I needed a B camera. So if you haven't been following me for a long time, I currently shoot on the Sony A1. It's behind me in my backpack, which is like a $7,000 camera, and that's its own thing. But I needed another B camera that could complement it on set so that I could get another angle of the different things that I'm capturing. So if you're like, think about like you see me right now, having a B cam like over off to the side, getting a close up of my face. That's kind of what I want to use a B cam for. And so I was debating back and forth purchasing another camera, and I basically justified it in my head by the following. Number one, any money that I make, any money that my business makes is just a tool. And it's a tool to be used to continue to grow the business, whether that means investing in my team, investing in the equipment, innovation, anything that we need to do to get better as a business. And get better does not always mean immediately earn more money. It means positioning ourselves to be able to continue to be valuable or to make ourselves more valuable so that we can continue to make more money. And I was kicking back and forth the idea of getting a new camera, the Sony FX3, and I justified it, number one, by it was in alignment with my goal of taking video a lot more seriously by getting a B camera. Number two, I wanted a video that could kind of hang out in my office the majority of the time, or at least be a dedicated video camera for my YouTube videos that had a lot less friction to set up than my Sony A1 for shooting videos. So I'm actually shooting on the new camera that I purchased, which is the Sony FX3 right now. And the setup for me was putting my camera on a tripod, placing it on top of my gear organizer, and flipping out the screen, hooking up the microphone. And I already have like my lighting set up over here, and I'm using natural light on this side. And I recently reorganized my office specifically for this purpose so that I could capitalize on this natural light and keep fixed lighting over here to my left. Previously, I would set up my Sony A1, and it was a different office setup in here. I would set up different lighting throughout the office in order to make the picture look good. I would put the A1 on a tripod, I would put the cage on it, I would put the monitor on it because there's no flip out screen so that I can see what I'm doing. I would hook up the microphones, I would wire myself with the mic, and then by that time I was ready to actually sit down and start filming after 15-20 minutes of setup. So I don't know about you, but I'm super ADHD. So the less friction that I have in my life to complete a task, the more likely it is that I will complete that task. So that was number two. I wanted there to be less friction for shooting videos for YouTube here in my office. Three, I have been kicking back and forth the idea of bringing on another videographer out of San Antonio, which is where I'm from. And I've actually hired this particular videographer slash photographer before, but they come onto the scene using a Canon camera, Canon glass, all that stuff. And I'm still really passionate about editing some of my own stuff, whether that be video or photography, especially if I'm posting it on my personal pages. And editing Canon footage or Canon photos is just not the same thing as editing content from Sony cameras. And so purchasing this Sony FX3 will now allow me to hire that videographer that I have in mind and then hand him this Sony FX3 for content creation. So now I can say, hey, I need you to follow me to this client meeting, or I'm doing this shoot on this day. Can you follow me around with this camera and just capture some content? Which will go a long way to producing more leads, spreading brand awareness of what I actually do, all that good stuff. So there's already three things right there. Next, I shoot a lot of videos in the outdoors during the summertime here in Texas. And if you're not familiar with Texas heat, it gets over 100 degrees during the summer. And every time that I do that, my Sony A1 overheats. I have about 10-15 minutes of recording time before my camera gets too hot. And I have to go inside, find a refrigerator, put my camera in the refrigerator for 10 minutes or so for it to cool down. And then I can return back to the project to start shooting. Thankfully, a lot of these projects are run and gun type shooting. So they're not like interviews where I'm constantly required to have my camera up and running, but it's still annoying. With the Sony FX3, this camera actually has onboard fans so that it can retain, or so that it can expel the heat that's inside the camera and keep the camera operating as it should. So that's another thing. And this isn't a Sony FX3 review. I know it sounds like it, but my point is there are numerous different ways that I can justify the $4,000 investment and expense for me in order to move forward with the purchase. And that's exactly what I did. Because again, I've thought about, should I invest this money in my business? Should I invest this money in myself? I've thought about that over and over. I've thought about it just now when I purchased this $4,000 FX3. I thought about it when I purchased my G Master lenses. Each of my G Master lenses, the Sony 50 millimeter f1.2, the 16-35 f2.8, the 24-70 f2.8. Those are all over $2,000 a piece. That's over $7,000 just those three lenses. I also have a G Master 35 millimeter. I have my Ninja monitors, those are expensive, like $800. My high-end MacBook Pro, that was $4,000. My external editing drives, those are Glyph drives, those are $1,300 a piece. My studio display was $2,000. Everything in this office is all intended to make my business run better, to make my content better, to make just things better in the long run. But I've had this like feeling of hesitancy every time that I've made a purchase on behalf of my business. But moving forward past that hesitancy is the reason why my business is where it is today. Even though it takes a little bit of luck to get here, there are plenty of opportunities that I've come across that had I not made the investment months prior or even a week prior, I would not be in the position that I needed to be to capitalize on that opportunity. A lot of greats suggest that there is no such thing as luck unless you think of luck as the point in time when preparation meets opportunity. So, all that to say is, if you're kicking around the idea of whether or not you should invest in that next big purchase for your business or for yourself in a way that is going to develop you further, I say that you just do it. And just now when I popped into my head, I mentioned all the stuff that I bought for my business, but I didn't even mention the education. I spend $600 every quarter on creative communities that I'm a part of. I regularly purchase, $1,500 plus tickets to attend workshops put on by my mentors. I regularly purchase workshops from like bad A creatives in the field, like Garrett King, which is Short Stash. I purchased video editing workshops from Sam Colder for DaVinci Resolve. That was like $1,500. And all of these educational purchases build me as a creator and allow me to go out into the field and offer better, more enhanced services for my clients. And because of that, I raise my prices. So no matter what you're doing, whether it's educational, whether it's gear, whether it's personnel, equipment, doesn't matter. Take the step, invest in yourself, trust the process, and just keep grinding until you meet the opportunity that you've already prepared for way prior. I hope this video helps, and I hope it's encouraging. Sorry for the rambling, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.